I'm a time traveler. The year is 1916, and I'm in the middle of the First World War. History books talk about battles and victories, but they hide what war actually feels like. Let me show you the communication trenches. This is the frontline trench. From just beyond these sandbags is no man's land. Let me show you the difference of the dugout bunker, the officer bunker, and the medical bunker. This is no man's land, the deadliest place on the battlefield. And if you enjoy immersive historical journeys like this, subscribe and travel through history with me. I am a time traveler. The year is 1916, and I am in the middle of the First World War. Being here in 1916, amidst the soldiers, every step sinks me deeper into the mud. As a time traveler, seeing these men in 1916, they barely sleep, yet every day they clean and maintain their rifles, preparing for what comes next. The mud is everywhere. It sticks to everything. I can't believe how these trenches are a maze. Every turn feels the same, yet danger is always near. The sound of artillery never stops. It vibrates through the ground and into your bones. Here in the First World War, food is scarce. This tin might be the only meal for hours. Every piece of equipment tells a story. Worn and battered, yet essential for survival. Looking down this trench, it stretches farther than the eye can see. A network of fear and endurance. Even the quietest moments in 1916 are tense. Every glance is calculated, every word measured. This underground shelter feels more like a tomb than a place to rest. And this tin of meat might be all they eat today. Some of these men sleep only a few hours at a time, surrounded by mud, smoke, and the sound of distant artillery. Even the rain feels endless here. The trenches swallow everything in mud. Nobody talks loudly here. Every conversation feels heavy, like everyone is waiting for something terrible to happen. A daily routine, cold food, mud, exhaustion, and the constant fear of artillery. Everything here is worn down by water, mud, and war, but these tools are the difference between survival and death. Even in the middle of the war, many soldiers still write letters home, pretending everything is fine. These communication trenches connect the entire battlefield, and getting lost here would be terrifying. The exhaustion on their faces says more than words ever could. Even a distant gunshot changes the mood instantly. Everyone reacts without thinking. That explosion was close, much closer than I expected. This medical shelter is overwhelmed, and the medics barely have enough supplies to keep up. Some of these side trenches are built like traps. Tight, confusing, and dangerously exposed. No matter how exhausted they are, the rifles are cleaned every single day. This officer bunker feels like a completely different world compared to the trenches outside. Just a few meters away, soldiers are drowning in mud, but inside this bunker, it feels like an entirely different war. The contrast is impossible to ignore. Outside, soldiers are exhausted and freezing, while in here, officers still have warmth, food, and silence. These maps decide everything. Entire lives, reduced to lines, arrows, and numbers on a table. I think they're preparing another attack, and judging by their expressions, many soldiers may not survive it. Stepping back outside feels brutal. The warmth of the bunker disappears instantly, replaced again by mud, rain, and fear. Something has changed. The trenches feel more tense than before. The deeper I go into these trenches, the more it feels like the entire battlefield is preparing for something terrible. The wounded keep arriving, and the medics are running out of space. The bombardment is getting closer now. Every explosion feels like it could collapse the trench. Beyond these sandbags is no man's land. and nobody looks at it for long. You can feel the anxiety spreading through the trench. Ha! Everyone knows something is coming. The silence in here feels unnatural. Nobody wants to say what they're thinking. At night, the explosions light up the trenches like lightning. Except this storm never ends. The trenches are constantly falling apart, and rebuilding them never really stops. The communication trenches are now filled with wounded soldiers, and the attack hasn't even started yet. The smoke is getting so thick now. Sometimes you can barely see the end of the trench. The whistles just started, and the entire trench erupted into chaos. Some of these men are about to climb out of the trench into no man's land. The bombardment is relentless now. It feels like the earth itself is breaking apart. The rain keeps getting worse, and the trench is slowly drowning in mud. Every flash out there reveals more destruction and less hope. The rifles aren't enough anymore. Now they're fixing bayonets. Everything is happening at once now. Shouting, explosions, confusion. The medical shelters are overflowing now, and the night is far from over. Parts of the trench are collapsing under the bombardment, and nobody has time to repair them anymore. Even moving supplies through this mud looks exhausting. Everything here fights against survival. The front line feels quieter now, and somehow that makes it even worse. That blast almost hit the trench directly. I can barely hear anything now. The officers are yelling for everyone to prepare. Ha! Whatever is coming is happening soon. The battlefield barely looks human anymore. Just mud, smoke, and destruction. This bunker took a direct hit earlier, and I don't think everyone inside survived. Everything just went quiet, and somehow that silence feels more terrifying than the explosions. Nobody is pretending to be calm anymore, ha! You can see the fear in every movement now. The ladders are being placed now, which means some of these men are about to climb into no man's land. The air itself feels heavy now. Smoke, mud, fear, everything is suffocating. The officers are yelling non-stop now. Something is about to happen. They're going over the top, straight into no man's land. Everything just exploded into chaos. I can barely understand what's happening anymore. The wounded are already coming back, and the attack has barely begun. This is no man's land, and it looks even worse than I imagined. The bombardment is hitting everything now. The ground doesn't stop shaking. I don't think anyone here is ready for what's happening outside the trench right now. Gas! They're screaming about gas! Everyone is trying to put their masks on at the same time. The trenches have turned into complete chaos. Nobody can even see clearly anymore. That explosion almost buried the trench! I can barely keep standing. Even the officer bunker is falling apart now. Nowhere feels safe anymore. The bunker that once felt protected now feels like a trap. Trenches outside are even worse now. It feels like the battlefield is collapsing completely. There are wounded soldiers everywhere now, and the medics can't keep up anymore. No man's land has turned into absolute hell. I can't even tell where the battlefield ends anymore. The bombardment is non-stop now. Every second feels like survival by pure luck. After all that chaos, this silence feels even more terrifying. The bombardment finally stopped, but nobody here looks relieved. The trench barely survived the night. Entire sections have completely collapsed. Some of these men survived physically, but mentally, I'm not sure they ever leave this place. This battlefield doesn't even feel real anymore. Ooh. It feels like the end of the world. The wounded just keep coming, and the trenches never stop swallowing people. I came here to witness history, but nothing prepares you for what war actually feels like. Just hours ago, this trench was full of voices. Now, it feels almost empty. History books talk about victories and defeats, but standing here, all I can see is loss. The soldiers who survived this war will carry it with them forever, even long after the fighting ends. I'm leaving 1916 now, but I don't think part of me will ever leave these trenches.
In the silent mud of the trenches, thousands of dreams vanished without a goodbye. Young men who carried letters in their pockets and hope in their eyes were consumed by smoke, cold, and the endless sound of war. The First World War did not only take soldiers, it took sons, fathers, friends, and futures that would never have the chance to exist. Today, the wind crossing those shattered fields still seems to carry echoes of those left behind. Between craters, barbed wire, and silence, remain stories interrupted by fear and pain. The war ended long ago, but the scars left by every lost life never truly disappeared.